Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Help Me with a String of Numbers from the Relationship Advice subreddit, and it says, I 27 female, found out my boyfriend 33 male is not divorced or childless when I told him I was pregnant. And before we do get into this story, I do want to give you a trigger warning that there is abortion talk with it in this story, so if you do want to skip it, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. I'm a mess and I'm on mobile, so sorry if this makes no sense. My boyfriend of almost 2 years has essentially been living a double life. I'm baffled as to how he pulled this off. When we met, he told me he was on the tail end of a nasty, lengthy divorce, but that he had moved on and it would never pose an issue. And until now, he was right. It never has. Last week, I took a pregnancy test that came back positive, and yesterday morning, I had a OB/GYN visit to confirm. I was honestly ecstatic. I've always wanted to be a mum, and my boyfriend felt the same. We talked about our future children many times, even though we haven't been together for the longest time. I was really excited to tell him that night when he came over for dinner, but his reaction was weird. His face went pale and he looked confused. Not what I expected at all. And he got up to go to the bathroom. When he came back, he was really calm and really serious, and he told me that he was really afraid and didn't know how me and our baby would factor into his life. And he made the decision to come clean. Not only is he nowhere near being divorced from his wife, who he's been with for close to a decade, but they have 2 kids together, 4 and 6. I had no idea how I never had even a clue. He works a lot and really early, which is the reason he would rarely spend nights over. That being said, it's not like he hardly spent any time with me. I'm heartbroken and confused, and his confession left me with absolutely no idea what to do. I'm still pregnant with his 3rd child, and he's still very much married. He left right after that conversation, and I've called and texted, but the only response I've gotten is that he'll speak to me tomorrow night after work. His demeanor is so cold and unfamiliar that I'm terrified he's going to leave me to figure out this pregnancy on my own. Another part of me doesn't want him anymore. If he's this good of a liar, what else has he lied about? What else could he lie about? I also would hate to break up a family like this. I feel disgusted in this whole situation. I've never felt more alone and confused. Should I be preemptive and leave him, or are there other ways I could go about this? In the same post, there's a first update that says, I think it's clear that I need to leave him. That's about all that's clear for me right now. I want to be a mum, but these are the worst circumstances for that I can imagine. I'm trying to think of ways to contact his wife and can't think of any. I do believe I was at the house where they once lived at one point, but he has moved since then, allegedly, so I have no idea what the new address is. I can't seem to piece this together at all. I don't understand how I was fooled for so long. I think I'm still in shock. To recap, I am leaving. I'm not sure if I want to abort, and as much as I want to tell his wife, I have no way of doing that. I guess I'll wait until he speaks with me tomorrow. Thank you guys. If you like updates, I'll keep posting. And then adds another update in the same post saying, I found his wife through a website someone sent me. He wasn't lying when he said he had no social media, but she does. Seeing the pictures of them made me realize I cannot keep our child. His family is beautiful, and it breaks my heart to know he could do this to them. I cannot have the father of my child be someone like him. I still have no idea how to tell his wife. Now, you're absolutely right in making that call to leave him. There is no staying with this guy. He's lived a double life for the last couple of years. The level of lying and manipulation that takes to live in this sort of false reality, if you like, is absolutely wild. And you have to remember that he did this to himself. He's the one who's caused this, not you. So, telling his wife, which I believe is the right thing to do, but obviously always protecting yourself first, is a consequence of his actions. She's been deceived in this at the same time. His children have been deceived in this at the same time. He's the one who decided to blow everything up. But Zero says, you didn't break up his family. He did that to himself. Seahawk Guy says, should be doing his wife a favor. Exotica Fox says, oh, my heart breaks for you. You absolutely need to leave. You will never trust him, ever. Decide if you want to keep the baby as a single mum. He will have to provide you child support most likely. Yes, he will have to tell his wife, and if she's smart, she will also leave. She has a right to know. Please remember, you did not destroy his family. He did that. He alone did that. You have a ton of emotions right now, and I don't blame you for being confused, but please walk away. Who close to you can you confide in? This is also an epic betrayal, and I advise you to see a therapist as you navigate the next year. Legally Divine says, please tell someone in your life you're meeting with him tomorrow, or meet in public just to be safe. Men have hurt women for far less reasons. The Skipster says he's going to leave you. You are just the side piece to a very immoral and selfish man. Do not expect him to do anything decent to anyone. Not to you, not to his wife, and not his other children. The pregnancy with his side piece is not going to change him into a good person. End your relationship with him and decide what you're going to do about your pregnancy. If you're going to have a baby and be a mum, you will at some point have to inform his family so you can get child support. I suggest talking to a lawyer before you do anything because you could easily financially screw this up for your kid's future. If you're going to abort, and the question about telling his wife is a different beast. I personally would because I think she needs to know the type of person he is so she can protect herself in part for petty revenge. So Opie came in with another post with an update saying, so I wanted to get this up as soon as possible because honestly, I never want to think about this again. I met with my ex this morning instead of after work because I guess neither of us could wait any longer to end this nightmare. I can't tell what's true and what isn't. All I know is my life has been pretty much torn to shreds. I went from confirming my pregnancy to this mess in basically no time at all. The last 24 hours have been the hardest of my life. Before I get into the conversation I had with my ex, I wanted to clear up a couple of points that people kept bringing up. Yes, I've been to his house. I'll explain the quotations better. We both work a lot, and I never really minded never spending much time at his place. His story was that after his divorce, he was left with the house to himself and he got some roommates. He was kinda touchy about the subject, but we talked about it once and it had to do with feeling weird about having roommates in his 30s. He was allegedly in the process, says of selling the joke, didn't just mean selling the house, after his roommates left, so we stopped going there often, since it was semi-packed up. Made enough sense to me, and since I live alone, I always preferred him being at my place anyway. So no, I didn't spend 2 years not knowing where my boyfriend lived. I spent a year and 7 months simply spending more time at my place together. The second point is how I got pregnant in the first place. We didn't plan for a baby. We didn't try for a baby. We simply decided that if it happened, it happened. He had this whole mentality about living in the moment and happy accidents and such, supposedly due to how his marriage ended. So I stopped using birth control and he would sometimes not use condoms. Come on guys, accidental pregnancies happen all the time. The last point is about my decision to terminate this pregnancy. I don't care about anyone else's stance on abortion. This is my life and my choice, for reasons that have become clearer when I get to how my conversation with my ex went. This is the most painful and confusing thing I've ever dealt with. Yes, I'd love to be a mother, but I'm in no rush. I know things rarely turn out as planned, but this is a terrible environment to bring a child into, and I'm not subjecting my child to emotional turmoil I'm currently going through. I cannot have a healthy pregnancy with the state of mind I'm in right now, and I'd rather put this behind me and wait to raise a child with someone who truly loves me so they can have the life they deserve. It'd be selfish to have a baby just because it's what I want. I have to think about what's best for my future child, and this is not it. Since this all happened so quickly, it's literally been a day since the bomb dropped. I'll take some more time to think about it, but I think my stance is firm. Now, onto what you all came for. I spoke to my ex first over the phone, and later outside of a coffee shop. I took y'all's advice to not be with him alone. I have no idea if any of what he told me was true, but I plan on never speaking to him again, so it's the closest to the truth I'll ever get. His demeanor was very odd. He looked almost close to tears, but his tone and what he was saying was cold and emotionless, and almost like he was debriefing me and not apologizing. Here is the story. His wife and him got married 10 years ago when she got pregnant. She was 18 at the time and her family is very Christian. So they married while she was pregnant and she eventually lost the child. Since then, he's felt trapped in his marriage but couldn't bring himself to leave, as he describes his wife as a very sweet, innocent and fragile person, with very strong views on marriage and very high hopes for the relationship. After having their 2 kids, she became very focused on them, and he started to stray from his marriage at this point. He claims that it wasn't until he met me that he realized just how dead his marriage was. Being the coward he is, instead of leaving his wife, he decided to just start another life with me, completely separated. This is where his lies started to get messy. He does have a job, but it turns out he works from home. So that's where he was when he was at the office. His co-workers / work friends I met are kind of like partners, but they're all independent and don't see each other too much, which is why he was okay with introducing them to me. I had no idea about his wife. In hindsight, I was very stupid to never think about meeting more of his friends, but neither of us are extremely social. While with me, he would tell his wife that he was out with clients, running errands or on business trips, all things he did legitimately have to do for his job. The house I visited wasn't his, which is why there was no sign of children. It's his brother's house. He works out of town a lot, so I'd be over when my ex was house sitting. His story about moving in with roommates after his divorce, that's actually what happened to his brother. It was his brother that was in the process of selling his house after his roommates left, not him. So it turns out he does have family nearby. It gets more complicated. Too much to type out, but his web of lies is very detailed, very well thought out, and unfortunately for everyone but him, very well executed. Somewhat through sheer dumb luck, but I'm 1000% sure he's had practice living a double life. This could all be lies, but this next part is the strangest to me. He claims that when we had the conversation to stop birth control and have kids, he had a different conversation with himself. He decided he was happier with me, and if a baby come along, that's when he would cut things off with his wife. But that makes no sense. Would he be cutting off his children too? Was he planning on ever telling me? He said that when the moment came and found out that I'm pregnant, he felt unexpected panic and reconsidered his life and decided he couldn't leave his family. I guess that explains the confusion on his face when I told him. He then came to the conclusion that the best course of action would be to end things with me and ask me to get an abortion, and we'd be on our merry ways and he could go back to his normal life. He still thinks I have no way of knowing who his wife is and have no way of contacting her. Nope. Though he doesn't need to worry about having a third kid. I cannot in good conscience let this man continue to lie to his wife, who sounds completely clueless. I took the advice of one of you and recorded the conversation on my phone. It's a garbage recording, but there's just enough that's audible to keep as evidence. I'm going to spend some time compiling all I have and thinking of ways I could help her out of a disaster of a marriage, and then I will contact her. The reason I want to help is because I feel I'm playing a part in the ending of her marriage and I feel obligated to help if she'll allow me. I did not give him any indication that I'd be doing this. I told him I just wanted to never see him again and leave this in the past, which is true, but I want his wife to make the same decision. I'm sorry for the novel of an update. Thank you everyone for your love and support. I missed so many red flags about his friends, his family, his home, everything. But I was blindly in love and hindsight is 20/20. So much of this still doesn't make sense and never will, and part of me believes that his explanations and confessions are fabricated and the truth is a lot messier. But I'll never know, so I can't hold on to that. I'm considering moving to put this all behind me. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for your input and guidance. My brain is still such a mess and it'll take a long time to heal, but you guys have helped me go towards the right direction. Some of the top comments on this one says, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I definitely agree that is not the way to bring a child into the world. Your kid will eventually want to know about his father, and that will turn into a whole other can of worms that you probably don't want to have to deal with. However, if you decide to reach out to the wife, make sure you're approaching it with empathy and not anger. A 10-year marriage has been a lie, and I can't even imagine what it'd be like for her. Good luck, OP. Feminine says, thanks for the update. The guy's an absolute coward, liar, and a complete loser. Another commenter says, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Don't kid yourself that she's going to want your help though. Odds are she will party blame you for everything he's done and will want nothing to do with you. She may even decide to stay with him, even after knowing everything. You said she is from a Christian background and they often put forgiveness above everything and stay married for the sake of the children, no matter how angry and unhappy they are. So don't be surprised if she blows up on you and defends him." Then, a short time amount later, that OP came in with what they titled their final update. It says short update because I realized it kind of seems like I left you guys hanging. First, I'd like to address that the pregnancy was not unexpected, but not explicitly planned. Accidental was not the right word, but I'm aware of how babies are made. I was in a sense of trying to get pregnant, but only because my ex lied to me and convinced me he was on board. I'm not going to sit here and explain the ins and outs of how I was duped. I was stupid and missed some flags, but I absolutely planned on bringing a child into what I expected would be a healthy, safe, loving environment. That environment is not real. I'm not ready to be a mother under the current circumstances. I am not mentally or emotionally fit to carry out a pregnancy, and I am most definitely not going to put a child through the adoption system. It is just not a guarantee of a good life, and I can't in good conscience do that. For those and other reasons I've explained before, I've begun the process of getting an abortion. I collected photos, videos, screenshots of texts, and everything I could find as evidence to show my ex's wife. I tried to find texts in which he referred being divorced or just any lies to prove that I'm not at fault. But I heeded y'all's warnings to not try and help her or push her too far, since I don't know how she'd receive these news. I simply found her on social media, sent her all the pictures and screenshots and a short rundown of what her husband's been doing for 2 years. It took a day for her to respond, but all she said was, "Thank you." And once I saw that, I blocked her. I have not heard from anyone, and I hope to never hear or think about this situation again. It's behind me. I have no idea what happened with my ex and his wife, and I probably never will. Thank you guys for your support. Comment on that one said, "One of the hardest lessons of my life was learning that if someone is damned and determined to lie to you, it is hard to detect. And what a punch to the gut when the truth comes out. Ugh. This is a risk we run when we deal with people, but just like having a car wreck is unfortunate, it doesn't keep us from driving or using cars. We take reasonable precaution and just keep on because the benefits outweigh the risks, just as they do in relationships. Best of luck, OP. P.S. Thank you for sending that info to the wife. That was the kindest, best thing to do. I was the wife. I wish someone would have done that for me." Another commenter says, "You've handled this in probably the best way possible given the circumstance. Props, baby girl, and good luck in the future relationships." And the last commenter says, "Hope the best for you. I don't know if I'd have blocked her, but it's because of curiosity to see if she has something else to tell. But I think you did the best to continue and begin your new life. Stay strong and good luck." Just absolute madness, the level of lying, manipulation in this story, the brother's house details, the fake work schedule. It was literally a double life. And as I always say in these stories, and I know it's not the point, I really understand it, but it always pops into my head. I'm like, how does someone have like the capacity for that? The lies, the time, everything to be leading a double life like that, mentally for one. And I'm glad OP did do what they did for the wife in this situation. The letting her know what's been going on. So, she can make her choice, whatever she wants, whichever way that is, but she's got the information to make that choice. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story is a random one from the Today I Fucked Up subreddit from CuteOnion88, who says, "Today I fucked up by getting a tattoo of my mum in a bikini." What? My dad passed away a few months ago. I was really close to him and I miss him a lot. My dad had quite a few tattoos, but one of them I remember dearly. It was this pin-up style tattoo of a lady in a Hawaiian skirt and coconut bra on his calf. I always liked that tattoo, even though it was pretty badly done. Most of the color vanished over the years, and I remember our dad letting us color in the tattoo with markers when he wanted to take a nap and keep us busy. My mum always disapproved, and I never understood why, until now. One day, about 2 weeks after he passed away, I was walking around the city and came by a tattoo shop. One thing led to another, and I walked out of that shop with the same tattoo my dad had, the lady with a coconut bra. The artist did a great job at recreating the tattoo, and I was very happy, until I got home and wanted to show my mum. My aunt was there, my dad's sister, and started laughing like crazy. My mum looked quite shocked, not the reaction I was expecting at all. I didn't understand what was happening until my aunt told me. Well, now you got your mum on you forever, in a skimpy outfit. Great choice. Well, long story short, my dad got this tattoo about a year after they started dating. She wore this outfit to a party, took a photo, and he got it tattooed a few weeks after. Great. Fucking great. I was a bit confused because my mum has always had blonde hair. The tattoo lady's got black hair, but apparently she had a short phase of dyeing her hair black for a few months. My mum always hated that tattoo. They almost broke up because of it back then. She made him swear that he's never going to tell anyone the story behind that tattoo, hence why I don't know anything about it, and I never asked. I thought this was just a random tattoo he got on one of his many vacations. Well, now I have a tattoo of my mum in a coconut bra. Great. My mum told me she doesn't mind and that it's kind of funny now, but I'm really thinking of getting it removed. At least it's on my ribcage so I can hide it for the time being. I really don't want to show the world my mum in a bikini. For me, I'm saying keep it. It sounds like there's a very few select people that know it's actually your mum. Anyone outside of your house isn't going to know about it, so, no issue there. And for you, it was a childhood memory. Top commenter says similar, says, I'd say keep it. It's a reminder of your dad first and foremost. If anything, it showed his love for your mum. You could think of it as a symbol of your parents' love if you wish. No one has to know it's your mum. If anyone asks, just say it's a recreation of a tattoo your late dad had in his honor. You loved it before, enough to put it on your body permanently. Don't let this new info ruin its memory for you. Someone says your dad is laughing his ass off in heaven. Opie says he definitely is. He'd find it absolutely hilarious. But now, I'm going to turn this one straight to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Keep or get rid of the tattoo? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's have one more story. This one's coming from the Entitled People subreddit. It's a short story with a little update with it as well. From another guilty witness who says, Karen threatens to get me arrested for gardening my garden. Title says it all. Because the groundhog had no shadow. Spring came early, so I decided to weed the garden, strip that borders mine and Karen's property. There's a fence between the garden and her house. While doing so, I get rid of some of my daylilies that are on my property. I finish, return to my house and continue my day, until I hear a shriek from the side of my house. I rush over because I'm scared someone got hurt, and Karen, who just got home from work, asks me why I got rid of her lilies. I say that they were my lilies, and that I was making space for tomatoes, cucumbers, and carrots. She then calls the police because I had destroyed her property. The police come and basically tell her to go inside and shut up because it's pretty clear whose flowers they were. Opie comes in and adds an update and says this is an update to the previous post of mine, but I feel like this is big enough to warrant its own post. In my previous post I explained that a woman flipped out over the fact that I had taken daylilies out of my garden in preparation for some vegetables and such I was going to plant. In the comments someone suggested that I put a camera facing the garden in case Karen decides that the tomatoes look like they're on her side of the property line. My aunt, who's not entitled, was switching from Arlo to Ring home security, so she sent me those. They arrived the morning of the fire, so no video. That aside, I did not expect Karen to do this. Yesterday, Karen got mega drunk, like multiple cases of beer drunk. I don't know what she was drinking, but she obviously had a lot. And this put her anger over the edge about the loss of my lilies. She went with wood and a fire starter to my neighbor's house, the one on the opposite side of her house than mine, and lit their bins on fire. This spread to their porch and their entire home was alight. I'm a light sleeper and living in a cul-de-sac, and was woken up by the orange haze floating through my windows. I called 911, the whole shebang, witness report and everything, and as I went out with the 911 operator on the phone, this shitbag gives a confession. After a while, and as the fire department shows up, she realizes her mistakes. 1, she lit a house on fire, and 2, she lit the wrong house on fire. She'd been charged with arson and the like, and everyone got out. There's a mother, father, and 2 kids who are high schoolers. It still feels surreal. Opie did confirm in the comments that everyone got out safely, their pet included. I was just like after this one, holy shit, that escalated quickly, didn't it? And I was just thinking, surely she's going to get a lot more charges than just arson. It must be on the verge of attempted murder, right? I know she was starting with the bins, but holy moly. Anyway, it's an entitled people story like that in a long time. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much. And you know, if you want to listen to some more stories, there'll be a couple of playlists at the very end of this video that you can click on. It will automatically scroll through all those videos for you so you can crack on with whatever you're up to. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.